You don't have a motivation problem. You have a pattern. And that pattern is quietly keeping you in the exact same place, no matter how many times you try to move forward. You start something. You feel good about it. Then a few days later, you stop. You reset. You try again. And somehow, you convince yourself that this time is different. But if you're honest, you've been here before. More than once. Let me ask you something. Think about the last thing you told yourself you were going to commit to. Maybe it was work. Maybe it was fitness. Maybe it was something you genuinely cared about. You started. You had a plan. You had intention. For a few days, maybe even a week, you were consistent. And then, something shifted. Not dramatically. Nothing big happened. You just didn't feel like it one day. So you paused. And that pause turned into 2 days. Then 3. And then, instead of continuing where you left off, you restarted. Clean slate, new mindset. This time I'll do it properly. But the truth is, you didn't need a fresh start. You needed to continue. Restarting feels productive. That's the trap. When you restart something, your brain gives you a sense of control. It feels like you're correcting your mistakes. It feels like you're doing things the right way now. But what you're actually doing is avoiding the hardest part of progress. The messy middle. The part where you're not excited anymore. Results aren't showing yet. Things feel repetitive and nothing feels rewarding. That's where growth happens. But instead of staying there, you leave. And when you leave, you go back to the beginning, where everything feels clean again. Clear, motivating, structured. But it's an illusion, because you're not building on top of anything. You're just circling the same starting point. Again, and again, and again. Most people think they stop because something is hard. But that's not true. You've done hard things before. You've handled pressure. You've handled stress. So it's not difficulty that stops you. It's discomfort. There's a moment in every process where things stop feeling good. Not painful, just uncomfortable. Boring. Slow. Uncertain. And in that moment, you start negotiating with yourself. I'll do it later. I just need a break. I'll come back stronger. But what you're really doing is stepping out of the only phase that actually matters. Because progress doesn't happen when you feel motivated. It happens when you stay. When everything in you wants to leave. After a while, this becomes automatic. You don't even notice it anymore. You start something. You stop. You restart. And it becomes your normal way of operating. And the dangerous part is, from the outside, it looks like you're trying. It looks like effort. But internally, you're reinforcing the same behavior every time. Leave when it gets uncomfortable. And the more you repeat that, the harder it becomes to break. Because now it's not just a habit, it's your identity. You start seeing yourself as someone who can't stay consistent, struggles to follow through, always almost gets there. And that belief becomes the biggest barrier of all. The shift doesn't happen when you find a better plan. It doesn't happen when you feel more motivated. It happens in a very small moment. The moment where you normally stop, and instead, you don't. That's it. No big breakthrough. No dramatic change. Just one decision. To stay. To continue, even when it feels pointless. Even when it feels slow. Because that's the exact point where most people walk away. And that's why most people never move forward. You don't need another fresh start. You've had enough of those. You don't need a new strategy or a better plan. You need to break the pattern. And the way you break it is not by doing more. It's by staying longer. Staying when it's boring. Staying when it's uncomfortable. Staying when nothing feels like it's working. Because if you can do that, even for a little longer than before, you're no longer restarting. You're finally moving forward.